Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Meydan Racecourse here on Thursday. It's the 27th of February 2020. Gonna look at all the races on tonight's program from Meydan, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and join me this Saturday for my Saudi Arabia Cup preview video, and also join me Saturday for my Fountain of Youth preview video from Gulfstream. Some excellent racing this weekend, actually the next few weekends, so join me for it all on YouTube for my previews. So let's get to all the races tonight from Meydan. Also, next Saturday is Super Saturday, so it's good racing here at Meydan the next few weeks. But this is the final Thursday carnival program of the year from Meydan. Let's get to the first race, which is Road to the Kahala Classic. It's the final leg before the Kahala Classic. The first race, it's the Group 1 Al Maktoum Challenge Round 3 for the Arabian horse. He's going for a purse of $100,000. Race is for 5-year-olds and upwards. 13 horses are entered to go to the 2,000-meter trip, or mile and 1/4 on the dirt course. Top selection here, I'm going to take the 3-horse Af Al Sanjili. I'm going to go 3-7-1 in the Tricast Trifecta. 3-7-1 Tricast Trifecta. Top selection of the 3-horse Af Al Sanjili, this 7-year-old horse here. The horse's most recent came 2 weeks ago on the 13th of February here at Meydan, 1 mile, and the Group 2 Nad Al Sheba Stakes, and the horse finished fourth by 5.5 lengths there. And from a wide post, he stalked early on, but he just never quickened up. He ran, he's been improving, I think, with every single race so far this season. I think today to the 1.25 of the 2,000-meter journey, which I think is right in his wheelhouse, right in the teeth there. I think he'll really get a good trip from the inside. I think he's sitting on a good run. Prior to that, 2 back, he ran the Group 1 Al Maktoum Challenge Round 2, the mile 3:16 trip here on the dirt 3 weeks ago, and he finished 5th by 12 lengths. And again, he kind of stalked early on, but he never quickened up there. It was a weird race. And then prior to that, his debut at Meydan for the season came 9th of January, 1 mile in the Maktoum Challenge Round 1. He finished 3rd by 4.5 lengths. He ran decently that day early on, but then he kind of hit the wall late. And then before that, he took that horse to Abu Dhabi in November in just a local Group 1, 1,600-meter journey, a mile on the turf course. He stalked early on, but then he completely hit the wall. But he's back to the trip he likes. He's back to the dirt. He has speed to win. He's drawn well at 10-1. I think he's a live chance here, so let's take him. To the point of, I would actually single him in any of the multi-race wagers. So if you're going to play a pick 3 or a double, single him there. So to recap my selection for the first from Meydan's to Group 1 Al Maktoum Challenge Round 3, let's take the 3-horse Af Al Sanjili. We'll go 3-7-1 in the Tricast Trifecta. Let's get to the second event. Race number 2, it is the Meydan Classic. It's a listed stakes going for a purse of $175,000. Race for 3-year-olds only. We have 14 horses entered. They go the 1,600-meter journey or a mile on the turf course. The top selection here, we'll take the 4-horse Well of Wisdom. We'll go 4-3-7 in the Tricast Trifecta. 4-3-7 Tricast Trifecta. Top selection of 4-horse Well of Wisdom. This 3-year-old colt by Waster's Dream. William Buick's on this one for Godolphin and Charlie Appleby. The horse's most recent outing, first off the break, came the 6th of February here at Meydan. 7 furlongs of the conditions. The local prep race for this race, he finished 8th by 6.5 lengths there, and he had nothing. Ran piss poor, never getting into it. It wasn't the day to win, but I think he probably needed the race first off the break. I'm going to take him here second off the break with, he should really improve. Also, he's in the wheelhouse of the trip he wants. Prior to that, he ran in Germany on the 31st of August at Baden. 7 furlongs in the Group 3 Prix Zufen Renner. Blah, 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 blah. Pardon me, German's horrible. My French is horrible also, but my German is even worse, and my German should be better because I had an Austrian grandmother, but, I could speak better French than German. It's horrible, but in that race at Baden, he finished second by 2 lengths there, and I thought he ran a good race. He stalked early on. He just couldn't quicken up until late in the race. Maybe the ground was a little bit too soft for him, but he's had worse races, and then before that, he ran in France at Deauville on the 20th of July, 6 furlongs in the Group 3 Prix de Cabourg, and the horse finished second by 4 lengths. Again, he stalked early on. He never had the good turn of foot. The winner, Earthlight's actually pointing towards the 2,000 guineas at Newmarket for Andre Fabre. Ran a terrific race, and actually, it's a very good horse. Just went off clear. But this horse plays behind a good horse there. And then prior to that, he ran in Longchamp in a listed race in back on Grand Prix de Paris Day, and the horse won by a neck, and he ran a quick, good run, was sitting on the front and going away with it, a very good run. He's the kind of horse he needs to lead. I think from a good poster, he'll probably get it today, and I think another horse, if you're going to play the multi-race wagers, I think he's a very likely winner of 5-2. It's not the best price in the world, but here's your ice-cold exacta for the first race. We have that single with Af Al Sanjili, and then we'll single Well Wisdom here. Those are the 2 horses I really, speak highly of tonight, so let's take him. So So to recount my selection for the second from Meydan, it's the Meydan Classic. Let's take the 4-horse Well of Wisdom. We'll go 4, 3, 7 in the trifecta. Let's get to the race number 3 from Meydan. It's the District 1 Residents Cup Division 1 handicap. It's a handicap going for a purse of $135,000, race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have 10 horses entered to go the 2,000-meter journey or a mile and a quarter on the turf course. The top selection, I'm going to take the 2-horse Lucius Tiberius. I'm going to go 2, 3, 8 in the trifecta. 2, 3, 8 trifecta. Top selection 2-horse Lucius Tiberius. This 5-year-old gun by Camelot. William Buick gets the mount for Charlie Appleby. The horse's most recent outing came 23rd of January here in Meydan, a mile and a half at a handicap, drawn wide. I don't know if he liked the mile and a half that day. He finished 6 by 2 3/4 lengths. First thing, drawn wide, he really couldn't get a good, turn a foot late. The winners just jumped on him. I think the cut back to 2,000 or a mile and a quarter they should suit him well. Drawn well, and also he has a decent weight, and I think this is, going to be his best chance to win so far this season. 2 back, the horse ran the 2nd of January, made on a mile and a half in the listed handicap. Opening night at the Carnival, he finished 10th by 8 lengths, and he set the pace early on, but then he got swallowed by everybody. Hit the wall completely. That wasn't 100% fresh horse that day, and he proved it. Needed the race there. And then 3 back, the horse ran the 24th of August at Windsor. Mile 3, it's around the figure 8 and listed his stakes. And the horse finished third by 1 3/4 lengths. He was the favorite that day, and he stalked early on, but he just couldn't get there late. He just wasn't, he needed that extra turn of foot. And then before the 6th of July, Haydock, mile and a half in a handicap. I believe I backed him that day. I remember it so clearly. Finished 2nd by a length at 14-1. I made some money with him, but not the 14-1 on the win, because he finished 2nd. And that day, again, he set the pace, but then he just kind of hit the wall late. Kelly's Dino got to him. But the horse's last victory, you have to go all the way back to 2018, so he hasn't won in quite a while, but he's always run these decent competitive races. I think he's due for a victory at 4-1. I'm going to give him a shot. He also can't throw out the 3-horse Restorelli. James Doyle's on this one for Simon Crisford. This horse ran the second week of the Carnival, where he finished 3rd by 2 3/4 lengths, not getting the best trip at the mile, but to a mile and a quarter, which is his preferred trip. Firm ground. Second off a long refreshing. I think he's going to really get a run. His race before the race in January, his race prior was May of 2018, so he was coming off almost a 2-year break there, a year and a half break. But I think he's another horse getting to the mile and a quarter trip, which you should really like. At 3-1, I'll use him on the multi-race ticket. So to recap my selection for the 3rd from Meydan, it's the District 1 Residents Cup, Division 1. Let's take the 2-horse Lucius Tiberius as top selection. We'll go 2, 3, 8 in the trifecta. Use the 2 and the 3 in the multi-race or the place pot, whatever you decide to call it. Let's get to the 4. Race number 4, it's District 1 Blue View Stretch Handicap. It's a handicap going for a purse of $135,000, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have 9 horses entered to go 1,600 meters or a mile on the dirt course. Top selection, very, very wide open race. I'm going to go with the 8-horse Captain Van Trapp. I'm going to go 862 in the trifecta. 862 trifecta. Top selection 8-horse Captain Von Trapp. Miguel Barcelona's on this one. This 4-year-old colt by Trap Shot. His most recent outing came the 30th of January at Meydan, 1 mile in the handicap, and he finished 5th by 9 lengths. From a wide posture, he stalked a pace early on, but then he had the lead for a split portion, but then he just couldn't sustain the run. Kind of hit the wall late. He improved though with that race, considered to his Meydan or UAE debut, which came on the 16th of January here, Meydan, 1 mile in the handicap, and he finished 12th by 18 lengths and never got into it. Wide posture, just never had a good run. Today he's drawn well. I think he'll get a good pace in this one. I think he'll go to the front end from the better posture, and I don't think he'll be stopped. Prior to that, he ran a Laurel here in the States, in Maryland, on the 14th of July, 7 furlongs in the listed stakes, and he finished 5th by length, and he's the horse that kind of interfered with Mind Control that time. Mind Control, next start out, won the King's Bishop, or the Alan Jerkins at Saratoga, grade 1 race, then went on to win this past, a few weeks ago in the, what was the race? The Toboggan at Aqueducts. He's a very good horse. He's going to be, he's the kind of horse you want to keep in mind for the Carter Handicap in a few weeks at Aqueduct, and also possibly the Metropolitan Handicap at Belmont in June. He's a very good sprinter, 7 furlong mile horse. So he interfered with him. Mind Control finished third. Like I said, he's the next out winner. Got beat by some tough horses there. It was just a weird race at Laurel. And then prior to that, he ran 7th of June at Prairie Meadows in a listed race. Finished 2nd by a nose. He set the pace, got caught at the wire, but he ran his heart out there. And then before then, the Pat Day Mile Churchill, 1 mile on Derby Day. He finished 4th by 9 1/4 lengths. Mr. Money, who won that day, had a terrific season and went off to win easily. This horse, he just couldn't get into it. But he's at the trip he wants. He's at the mile trip. He's drawn well. He can set the pace. At 15-1, I think he's going to set a good race. So let's take him here. He's 15-1 here in America. Do I think here in the States you're going to get 15-1? No, I think he's going to at least half that, because you're going to see a lot of people seeing him run in the States, and since he's a horse that they're familiar with, they're going to bet him down into the ground. But in the European markets or the Australian markets, he's going to be the kind of horse that you'll definitely get 15-1, so make sure you get it. Another horse you'll probably see horrible odds on here in the States would be the 6-horse Behavioral Bias. Richard Mullins on this one. He's a horse, he has the speed to win here. He actually ran here in the States, here in the United States in 2018, and was doing well in some spots, horrible in the other ones. But he's the kind of horse, he hasn't won the UAE, but he's been cutting close his most recent runs. 5-1. I'll definitely use him on the multi-race ticket here. So to recap my selection for the fourth from Meydan's the District 1 Blueview Stretch handicap, let's take the 8-horse Captain Von Trapp as a top selection. We'll go 8-6-2 in the Tri-Cash Trifecta, 8-6 in the multi-race place pond, quaddy, whatever you decide to call it. So now let's get to the fifth race from Meydan the featured fifth race from Meydan. It is the Group 3 Nad Al Sheba Trophy. Group 3 race going for a purse of $300,000, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. 9 horses are staying the distance of ground of 2,800 meters or a mile and 3/4 on the turf course. This race named after the old race course in Dubai, Nad Al Sheba, and you saw some great races there. That's when I got into the Dubai racing. That's the race course I remember, and with a long stretch, that unique turf course where I really like that race course. Favorite speed quite often, but it was fun, and you always saw some exciting races there. But this race is a good race. I always like staying races. You don't see enough of them here in the States. Well, you don't see any of them basically in the States, but I like I said, I just like these staying races. Top selection here, I'm gonna go with the number 5-horse Dubhi. I'm gonna go 5-3-6 in the Tri-Cash Trifecta. 5-3-6 Tri-Cash Trifecta. But to tell you the truth, any of these 3 horses can win. It's the first leg of the pick 4 of the quad, so I'll go definitely 3 deep in this one. But the top selection would be the 5-horse Dubhi, 5-year-old Gelding by Bowie, Godolphin Doan, Charlie Appleby trains, James Doyle gets the mount. The horse's most recent out came the 30th of January at Meydan, a mile 3/4 enlisted handicap, and he finished third by 1 3/4 lengths there. And he just kind of stalked early on and never quickened up. He got around the race course well, but he can improve a little bit more. Prior to that, he ran at Randwick on the 13th of April of 2019. 2 miles in the Group 1 Schweppes Sydney Cup, and he finished 12th that day, never really getting a good run, and he just never really showed up there. But before that, here at Meydan, 7th of February, 2 miles and a handicap, he won by 4. He stalked, he got the lead, and then he won easily. That was one of the easiest wins I've seen in quite a while here at Meydan. And then before that, he ran first off the break of Meydan, a mile and a half and a handicap, over a long break, finished 6 by 14 lengths. The winner, Spotify, is a decent horse. This horse just really couldn't get that good turn of foot, but he's a horse. He's proven that he always needs to race first off the break. Second off the break, he's going to be a lot fresher, and I think he's sitting on a good run. 7-1, he's proven that he could stay. I'll give him a massive shot here. Like I said, that race 3 back here at Meydan was very impressive. So we'll use him at 7-1, along with the number 3 horse here, Charles Kingley. Miguel Barcelona's on this one. This horse hasn't been seen since the Cesarewitch trial at Newmarket, 2 miles and a quarter on the Rolling Mile in mid-September, where he finished 5th by 12 lengths. First thing, he had a high weight, and he just couldn't stay the trip. He hit the wall 2 furlongs out. What can you do? But we're at a mile 3/4. It's in his wheelhouse today. I think he'll get definitely the trip. 2 back, the horse ran at Doncaster, a mile 13/16, the St. Ledger trip, and a handicap, and he finished second by 3/4 length. And he sat back early, had a decent turn of foot late, but he had to gain up a little bit too much ground late, which cost him. And then at Haydock before that, mile 3/4 and a handicap, finished 4th by 5 3/4 lengths. And again, he closed up a little bit, but he doesn't do his better running style from the back. He does his better running style from the front. If he gets the lead today and he sits a little bit closer, I think he can win. He hasn't been a winner since the 27th of July, where he won at Newmarket, a mile 3/4 and a handicap, winning by 1.5 lengths. That was a very easy race. Not the toughest competition in the world, but he still won nicely. At 10-1, he's also a horse that could get a piece of it. And you can't throw out the 6-horse Spanish Moon, who's been getting overhyped here in America for some reason. But, he did win here in America a few weeks ago. But Jamie Spencer's on this one for David Simcock, for your quote by Noble Mission. His most recent outing came 7th of September here in New York at Belmont, mile and a half in the Jockey Club Derby, the inaugural Jockey Club Derby. And the horse won by nose, and Jamie Spencer almost flew the ride in the final 16th of mile. He dropped the rein, but he got it back. He held on to a very nice victory. Top three in that race, keep in mind, were European-based horses. The Americans just couldn't stay the trip there. What can you say? Those American horses just can't run on a mile and a half on turf. But, he won nicely. But mile and a half was probably a little bit too short for him. He's the kind of horse he's going to love staying. He's the kind of horse, it wouldn't surprise me to actually see him in America again in June. It wouldn't surprise me if you see him in the Belmont Gold Cup. It's a 2-mile race in Belmont Stakes weekend. He looks like the horse that could get the trip. But two back, he ran the Gordon Stakes at Goodwood, a mile and a half, and he finished third by neck there. And that was a weird run. He was a little overhyped for that run, but he never got the good turn of foot, and he never really ran a good race. And also, it was just a weird race. But before that, he won the Bahrain Trophy by 4 lengths very, very nicely. The kind of horse, I don't think I backed him that day, but that was the kind of run that when you watch it, you're like, holy shit, he got beat by a very good horse. I hate getting beat by a horse that shouldn't have won, but that happened quite a few times sometimes. But he won nicely there at Newmarket, and then before that he placed behind Private Secretary at Goodwood in the Derby trial in late May, where he ran a good race. I like him at the staying trip 2-1. I like him, but I still prefer the other two on over him. But he's a horse you definitely could use in the Plays Pod or the multi race. I know I will in pick 4. But to recap my selection for the 5th from Meydan, it's the Group 3 Nad Al Sheba Trophy. Let's take the 5-horse Dupe as a top selection. We'll go 5-3-6 in the Tri-Cash Trifecta, 5-3-6 also in the pick 4 Quaddy Plays Pod. Like I said, it's a very wide open race. So let's get to the 6th event. Race number 6 from Meydan. It's the Curlin Stakes. It's listed handicap going for a purse $175,000, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have 12 horses entered to go the 2,000-meter journey or a mile quarter on the dirt course. The top selection here, I'll take the 6-horse Ambassadorial. We'll go 6-5-9 in the Tri-Cash Trifecta. 6-5-9 Tri-Cash Trifecta. Top selection 6-horse Ambassadorial. The 6-year-old gelding by Elusive Quality. David Egan gets the mounts, his first start in the UAE on this one, his first mounts in the UAE, but he's quite familiar with the horse. But most recently, the old man rode the horse Johnny Egan on the 13th of February here in Meydan, 1 mile in the Group 3 Fire Break Stakes, and he finished 4th by 11 lengths there. And he stalked early on, but he didn't have a lot left in the tank late, kind of hit the wall late. It wasn't his day to win, but I think the mile quarter should really suit him well. I think that will get him a better rally, and if he sits closer on this racetrack, it's not bad either. Prior to that, he ran on the 16th of January in Meydan, 1 mile in the handicap, and he finished second by nose, and he ran a terrific race there. He set the pace, he got caught late, but he was very game to the wire. I've seen worse runs, and it wasn't a bad run there at all. And then prior to that, he ran a Santino 1 mile in the Breeze Cup Dirt Mile, finished 9th by 12 lengths there. And, he just really couldn't keep up late. It wasn't his day to win at 81, but he still, early on, he outran his odds. And then before that, they ran the horse a challenge for a 1 mile conditions race, finished 3rd by 3.5 lengths. And, he just kind of stalked all the way around the race course and just couldn't quicken up. I think his fall campaign might have taken some stuff out of him, because prior to that, just a month earlier, he ran in Korea at Seoul, a mile and 1/8 in their Seoul race, whatever they call that, Seoul Cup, and he finished 3rd by 3.5 lengths, and he just really couldn't get a run there. He was handling the dirt okay, but it was just a weird race for him. And then before that, he finished 3rd at Chelmsford in a handicap, where he could have ran a little bit better. But his last 2 races here weren't so bad. Mile and a quarter suited him well, sitting closer. 7-1. Let's give him a shot here, along with the 5-horse Parsimony. William Bukes on this one for Doug O'Neill. This horse's most recent out came on the 23rd of January, made on a mile and a quarter in a handicap, and he finished 4th by 4 lengths there. He set the pace, he got caught in the stretch run, but it was his first start here, so he probably needed the race. More acclimatized, second off the break, setting the pace. I think he'll get a good run. 2 back, the horse ran at Del Mar, 6 furlongs allowance optional claimer, and he finished 4th by 5 lengths there. And he stalked early on, but then he just kind of hit the wall and was drifting. It was just a weird race for him. And then Santini 7 furlongs, and he finished 4th by 7.5 lengths. Again, he has a problem with drifting occasionally in those 2 starts in November in California. But before they broke the main at 6 furlongs very nicely at Santa Anita win by length. Very, very easy run. He's a horse. The model course shouldn't be bad for him. He's gonna be the key with him probably is gonna be setting him to the lead and see how far they could go. I think he could probably go a long way. 4-1. We'll use him there on the multi-race ticket. So to recap my selection for the 6 from Meydan's the Curlin Stakes, let's take the 6 horse Ambassadorial. We'll go 6-5-9 in the tri-cash trifecta, 6-5 in the multi-race. Let's get to the 7th. Race number 7 from Meydan's District 1 Residence Division 2 Handicaps. A handicap going for a purse of $135,000. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have 11 horses entered to go 2,000 meters or a mile and a quarter on the turf course. The top selection here, we'll take the 5 horse Style Hunter. We'll go 5-1-6 in the tri-cash trifecta. 5-1-6 tri-cash trifecta. Top selection of 5 horse Style Hunter. This 5-year-old gelding by Ravens Pass. Ocean Murphy's on this one for Simon Christopher. The horse's most recent outing came the 13th of February here at Meydan, a mile and a half in a handicap. And he finished third by 2.5 lengths there, and he just had nothing. Never quickening up. Mile and a half, just too long. Mile and a quarter in his wheelhouse. I think he'll get a good run. But his most 2 recent races here in the UAE have been horrible races. Meydan before that, 16th of January, 1 mile in the handicap. Okay, first off the break, another wide poster. He finished ninth by 6.5 lengths. Never really getting into it. And then before that at York, mile and a quarter in a handicap. He lost all chances at the beginning. Wide poster, finished 18th by 16 lengths. Didn't break that well, and was just never competitive there. But before that, he ran a decent 4th at Ascot in June and a mile handicap there. And then before that, he ran out to Newmarket, a mile and a quarter in a handicap, finished 5th by 5.5 lengths. I've seen worse races, but he still can improve there. He hasn't won since June of 2018, where he won at Goodwood, a mile and an eighth in a handicap, winning by 4. He just won nicely. He has the speed to win. Mile and a quarter in his wheelhouse. Drawn well. Ocean Murphy back in town to ride this horse. I'm going to give this horse a massive shot here. The one horse Zaman could also get a piece of it. They're cutting back with him to a good distance of ground, to a mile and a quarter. His most recent race is a mile and a half. He hasn't really been showing up, but he can't, his most recent good race came here about a year ago, going to mile quarter trip where he finished third by 3/4 length, where he outran his odds, I thought. He hasn't won since March of 2018, where he won a listed stakes here at Meydan on a mile on the turf course. But he was facing some tough horses in France in 2018 and in 2019 here in the UAE. At 6-1, I'll give him another chance also on the multi-race. But to recap my selection for the 7 from Meydan now. It's the District 1 Residence Division 2 Handicap. We'll take the 5 horse Style Hunter as the top selection. We'll go 5-1-6 in the tri-cash trifecta, 5-1 in the multi-race place pot, pick 4 quaddy, whatever you decide to call it. Let's get to the nightcap from Meydan. The nightcap from Meydan, race number 8, District 1 Mansions Trophy Handicap. It's a handicap going for a purse of $175,000, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 18 horses entered, but 15 through 18 are also eligible, so only 14 could go the distance of ground of 1,400 meters or 7 furlongs on the turf course. A very random race here. As a top selection, I'm going to take the 10 horse Chief of Chiefs. I'm going to go 10, 12, 11 in the tri-cash trifecta. 10, 12, 11 tri-cash trifecta, top selection 10 horse Chief of Chiefs, 7-year-old gelding by Royal Applause. Richard Mullins on this one for Charlie Fellows. The horse's most recent outing came the 6th of February here at Meydan, 7 furlongs in the handicap, and he finished third by a neck there. And he sat back early. He had a decent turn of foot late. He just missed, but he ran, he ran good. Since they put the blinkers on, he's been improving with every single race. 2 back on the 9th of January here at Meydan, 1 mile in the handicap, finished 6th by 4 3/4 lengths. And again, he quickened up a little bit that day. I thought it was a good race, even though he probably wasn't 100% fresh. But before that, first start with blinkers, he's had worse races, he's had better races. I came in Ascot 1 mile in the Balmoral handicap on very waterlogged ground. He finished 9th by 7.5 lengths, kind of hit the wall, but he still ran, better than he usually runs. Before that, he ran horribly at Kempton in an allowance optional claiming handicap in October. And before that, Ascot the mile and a handicap, he finished 4th by 6 lengths. He ran okay, but he still could improve. But he's the kind of horse, he hasn't won since early 2019. He's due for a victory. The most recent race was promising. If he could sit closer, I think he'd get a good run. We'll use him here at 6-1. The 12 horse Valorum from Miguel Barcelona and Charlie Appley and Godolphin also get a good run, but hasn't been seen since Royal Ascot, since a handicap there, 1 mile on the 20th of June, where he finished 26 by 24 lengths, beat 2 horses home, hit the wall completely, just wasn't getting the wet ground. He's a horse, he's probably going to like the firm ground today. He could win at the trip. We'll give him a shot at 5-1, and also the 11 horse Linden B is a weird horse. Three back, he pulled up out of the race here at Meydan, but then came back to a decent fifth at Meydan back in earlier this month, and then came back to a disappointing race here earlier this month, but that, later this month. But he gets a better poster here today. 12-1, I'll use him, but I don't trust him. But if I don't use him, he'll probably win by a mile, so we'll use him. But I'm more confident in the other two. But this horse has been very weird so far this year, this Lyndon B. So to recap my selection for the nightcap, race number 8 from Meydan's District 1 Mansions Trophy Handicap. As a top selection, we'll take the 10 horse Chief of Chiefs. We'll go 10, 12, 11 in the tri-cash trifecta, 10, 12, 11 also in the place pot, pick 4. So it's going to cost a little bit, this pick 4 ticket, or the quaddy ticket, but if it comes out, it's going to pay quite nicely. So make sure you're playing. I know I am. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5, and also check out my Saudi Arabia Cup preview video very soon. Good luck, everybody.